Bitcoin back up to $67,000, fulfilling one of the targets from one of our setups that we've been looking at over the past few days. Now we are going to put this into Signal Palooza, where we look at a bunch of different things that are starting to coalesce and really clarify the more, I would say, medium-term situation for Bitcoin here. Other than that, I have a major, massive message for the community that you should know from one of our subscribers, Pubrick, who says, "Sell in May, you are gay." That is indeed right. If you sell, you're gay. I don't make the rules. I'm just reading the comments, okay? And if that's offensive, I apologize, right? It's the year 2024. Gay is just another word for cool, as it is the in thing right now. And so that means that you too can be cool in May if you just carry out the right actions. Anyways, first things first, let's follow up on that setup over here. It was a meta signals setup that we were looking at for Bitcoin, and it did hit target number 2 at $67,000 in the early morning hours. As we can see, as of right now, that did have, I believe, a high 50% probability to be hit. There is a target 3 on this one as well. It is significantly higher, I should say, as well. It will play into the analysis a little bit later, but it is technically speaking at 76,341 in change. Now, this does have obviously a much lower probability to be hit. I believe it is in the low 30%. And as we can see, probably would take some time if it is going to get hit. And I would be expecting some ebbs and flows on Bitcoin in the more short term, even if it does get fulfilled later on. But here's the thing. If we go into this one right on over here, and we can see that this was a setup that was fired off all the way back in March 19th that we called out. And this one is actually a rather simple setup. It has not been negated as of just yet, and in this case we can backtest the full history of Bitcoin using this setup, and out of 131 closed total trades, 51 or over 51% of them were profitable. And you can see that because this one did have a decent risk management, even with a basically coin flip probability in its favor, it was still massively profitable over the course of Bitcoin's history. So it's a very simple setup. If you were not around during the time that I was calling out, basically about a month ago, it is this, just Bitcoin needs to be in an uptrend on the daily time frame and on the 3-day time frame as well, with the VMP, with some special settings going on over here, at extreme lows. So I believe below 5 percentile or more, and then it'll take profit when the VMP goes up past 95 percentile. And we can see a few of the iterations in the past. One loser, a few winners, and the further back that we go, you kind of get more and more of idea on this one. Now, to be fair, this one has taken a long time, really, and it's still open as well, even despite Bitcoin coming back down ever so slightly below the entry as well. The stop loss on this one was at $57,000, or just a ball sack hair below $57,000. But in this case, the interesting thing about this is that, one, it is still open, and two, if we go over here into the performance summary and I remove my face for a moment, we can see that the average amount of time, the average amount of bars in losing trades was 5 bars, which this on a daily means 5 days, and the average amount of bars in winning trades was 14. So obviously it is blowing past both of those numbers as of right now, but significantly more past the losing trades average number. So as time goes on, as we were saying before, as time goes on and this one does not, hit the, hit the risk management on it, it's more and more likely to be a winner. And if we are going to see a winner here, the average winning trade has returned about 22.5%. The average losing trade losing about just over 8%. So I'll put my face back on over here. Hey! By the way, I feel like shit. So does Elsa. We're both sick. I think she's much more sick than me. But in case you're just trying to, contact support, this might be a little bit late. She's actually just been in bed for the past couple days. Anyways, in this case, from the entry of 61,900 and change, if Bitcoin were to play up 22%, I think it was, or 24% to the upside, where that put Bitcoin around about 76 to 77,000 bucks. Very interesting, because that would be right around the target. Number 3 over here for this meta signal setup. Now, I would say that personally speaking, the average move for this one to be hit on this particular setup, if it does play out to the upside, I think is actually a lot less likely. The reason why I say that is because if Bitcoin even trades back up towards, 71,000 bucks, we're going to see an explosion of volatility, and that might initiate the profit-taking metrics for this one. So, it would be suggesting up. Yes, technically those are statistics. I do think in this particular situation, you're probably not going to see like a tremendous move like that. Just my personal opinion. But hey, it is there for what it's worth. And of course, I should let you know that if you do find this content valuable and you want to, I don't know, support the channel or just get more content like this, just get more shit like this in your inbox every day, you can consider like and subscribing because we do these videos each and every day. All right, sweet. So we've gone through that. I forgot to show the old metal signals over here. Yep, you can find links to their stuff in the description below. They basically just spoon feed you signals. For better or worse, just fucking spoon feed it right into your face. Now, here comes the next setup. I said it was Signal Palooza today, and it is Signal Palooza actually, because there's more. And in this case, this is the moon signal setup. And I know immediately for most logical people out there, your brain is going to turn off and you're going to be like, hey, fuck you, Krown. I thought this channel was serious. Comments that I've gotten, by the way. I thought this channel was serious. You're talking about moons, idiot. Okay, fair enough. All right, maybe I am an idiot. In fact, probably yes. But statistics are statistics at the end of the day, and it is very interesting to me that if you didn't know that this setup was based off of the moons and you just saw this equity curve over here, I don't know, would you like it? No, I hate setups. Fuck that, man. Out of 122 closed trades, which is the full history of Bitcoin here on the daily, just over 59% of them were closed profitably with a profit factor of 3.5. Okay, interesting. If we go over here to the performance summary, this one did produce for the average winning trades about 24.5%, which is actually very close to the last one they just looked at, and also for the average losing trade, losing about 10% on average. So I did think that was rather interesting. It's a very simple setup in this case. It is just basically long when there is a new moon. I think that's it, and sell short. Oh fuck. I caught the gay. I sold. And now I'm gay. It is what it is. Anyways, sell when there is a full moon. So in this case, we have our first new moon here. It is technically not fired off yet because it waits for today's closure. So whatever today's closing price is, where that one will officially fire off. But assuming that, somewhere around here, $66,500, what would 24% to the upside look like? That would put Bitcoin into the 80,000s, low 80,000s, like 82 to 83,000 bucks, which I do think is interesting as well. I personally, again, think that it would be, not super likely for Bitcoin to just green dildo its way up from here. I do think actually Bitcoin probably does something more like this, if it is going to go up at all. And of course, on the other side of Bitcoin, if this one does lose, it loses an average of 10%. So 10% to the downside will put it where? Basically back down around the $60,000 lows, which I'm not going to go over this chart, but the Bitcoin production cost fundamentals does have the low side price at about 60,000 bucks now. So that would probably be another opportunity, which is why I do say that, if it does come back down, you'd probably get something like this. I do think it would ultimately end up being a higher low and then back upwards and onwards. The only way that I really get bearish on Bitcoin here, and bearish isn't really the right term, but the only way that I really be looking for Bitcoin to come down somewhat significantly lower is if you do see Friday the 19th low closed below. If you see something like that, okay, fair enough. I guess at that point, probably looking at least 57, maybe closer to 53 over time. But, one thing before the next, and I expect that this is all going to take some more time to transpire anyways. I think Bitcoin you're going to see a lot of Bitcoin sideways action. You see a lot of boring Bitcoin action here just in general. So fair enough. Anyways, yes, I should also call out that because this particular signal would be firing off on a Tuesday, what would be the statistics just if we were to look at Tuesdays? So I'm going to get rid of every other day tested here besides Tuesday and bring it up. And Tuesday actually even has better statistics than we were just looking at. Just under 70%, I should say, with 23 total closed trades on Tuesday for this setup in Bitcoin's history. And if we look at the performance summary right here, what is the average winning trade? 25.5%. So that actually is still consistent in the average losing trade, actually higher, closer to 13%. So fair enough. Anyways, okay, going back into it, I should let you know that if you want to have a tool like this that can backtest things, basically backtest anything that you have access to on TradingView, you can look at it in the links in the description below. It's the Krown Quant automation tools, and then you can actually even hook it up to a bot service, and you can even have it automatically executed for it. So slaves, yes, slaves are what we call that. Slaves that do your bidding. Anyways, yes, okay, cool. So let's get into some HPDR action over here. HPDR on the daily for CME, I do think is a particular interest, and why I do say that Bitcoin probably doesn't just green dildo sway to the upside right here. We do see that the median is currently at 67,500. This is for CME, again, with a couple $100 premium over spot price action. So as long as Bitcoin's below there, I still look for it to kind of be corrective in this lower block, potentially all the way back down somewhere around the current lows. But if Bitcoin starts to reclaim and close above that median, again, 67,500, or technically 67,600, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to put in a quick move, actually back to 70,000 bucks. And at that point, all of the other setups that we assessed over here start to become a lot more, I guess, reasonable. I think personally that's still a little bit unlikely. Also of interest, we do see that daily stochastic oscillator is positioned to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 60,900. Again, I do still think it could be very easily we see something like this and then try to the upside. Of course, I can be wrong about that. That is just a personal opinion, but as of right now, momentum remains to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above that. It's just I don't have a whole lot of faith in this current signal. Bitcoin's mostly sideways here. It's going to be mostly sideways, especially with the weekly, which did not come down exactly below where I wanted to see it come back down below before firing off another signal. So makes that one a little bit more complicated. Anyways, do I have any more charts over here? There's also 2-day time frame hidden bullish divergence, but we already called that one out yesterday. I think 3-day time frame is starting to... Yes, is potentially going to formulate here upon today's 3-day closure for CME. If Bitcoin closes basically here or higher, then at that point, I guess within the next week, yeah, you probably do see a move closer to 70,000 bucks. But until then, still more or less sideways, and I think it's still going to be some waiting games over here. But waiting games, sideways action is still going to favor the Boo laws more medium to long term. So I think that's probably a good place for me to be leaving off on this particular video. Again, I want to leave you with this message over here. Just, it is what it is, okay? I don't make the rules. Goodbye. With that said, take care, much love, and fuck you, and see you tomorrow, you dirty sellers.